Observe the vibrant energy.
The Brilliant Professor. Professor Jeptha Jonkin was a man who never knew how to rest. After years of careful grafting and tireless patience, he had achieved something extraordinary. A single tree that produced apples, oranges, pineapples, figs, coconuts, and peaches, all at different seasons. Most scientists would have stopped there, but Professor Jonkin was not that kind of man. To him, success was only an invitation to attempt something even stranger. One afternoon, Bradley Adams dropped by to visit his old friend. He wasn't surprised to find the professor deep inside his large glass conservatory, surrounded by plants and experiments. "So," Adams asked with a grin, "what are you working on now? Trying to make roses grow violets, or pumpkins grow on vines?" Professor Jonkin stiffened slightly. He didn't appreciate jokes about his work. "Neither," he replied coolly. "But come here, look at this." The professor pointed to a small plant growing in a large earthen pot. Its leaves were bright, glossy green, speckled with red spots. 3 unusual flowers bloomed from it, shaped like morning glories, but each had a strange little lid at the top. "Look inside one of the flowers," the professor said calmly. Adams hesitated, then leaned closer. Inside the flower was a narrow tube. Its walls were lined with fine...
That's when Adams realized this wasn't gardening anymore.
hair-like filaments, and they were moving. At the very bottom of the tube was a pool of clear liquid. Adams pulled back. "That's unsettling," he said. "What kind of plant is this?" The professor smiled with pride. "This," the professor announced, "is a specimen of Sarracenia nepenthes." Adams raised an eyebrow. "French for sunflower? Or Latin for sweet pea?" "It is Latin for pitcher plant," the professor snapped, standing to his full height, all 5 feet 3 inches of it. "One of the most fascinating plants in South America." "And I see it already has water at the bottom," Adams said lightly. The professor ignored the joke. "This plant belongs to what Darwin called carnivorous flowers," he said. "It eats insects." "Eats insects?" "Watch." The professor opened a small wire cage and released several flies near the plant. The flies buzzed in confusion, then slowly drifted toward the flowers. A sweet scent filled the air. Sticky syrup glistened along the edges of the petals. The flies landed. Suddenly, the hair-like filaments lunged forward, wrapping tightly around them. In an instant, the insects were pulled inside and dropped into the liquid below. The lid snapped shut. "Well," Adams said nervously, "that's a fly trap if I've ever seen one." "The plant absorbs and digests its prey," the professor explained, "and when it's hungry, it catches more." Adams took a step back. "Where did you get something like this?" "A friend sent it from Brazil." "And you're keeping it?" "Of course." Months went by. The professor spent nearly all his time near the pitcher plant. Other experiments were abandoned. Even his meals were delivered to the greenhouse. The gardener noticed something odd. The butcher boy was delivering 3 large porterhouse steaks every single day. But the professor was a vegetarian. So, who was eating the meat? When Adams finally returned, the professor greeted him eagerly. "I have something to show you." He opened a locked section of the conservatory. Adams froze. The pitcher plant was enormous, towering nearly to the glass roof. "What do you think of that?" the professor asked proudly. Adams stared in disbelief. "How did it grow so large?" Adams asked. "By feeding it," said the professor simply. "First insects, then chopped meat, then steaks. Now," the professor said proudly, "it eats 3 beefsteaks a day." Adams swallowed hard. "That thing looks alive in a way plants shouldn't." "It's time for dinner," the professor announced cheerfully. He climbed a ladder with a steak in hand. Adams watched uneasily. As the professor leaned forward, he suddenly lost his balance. His arms flailed, and then he fell straight into the open mouth of the plant. The flower shuddered. The professor's legs kicked wildly, then vanished. The filaments wrapped around him. The lid slammed shut. The plant had turned cannibal. Professor! Adams shouted. I'm alive, came a muffled voice. But this beast has me. I'll chop it open, Adams cried. No, begged the professor. Use chloroform. It's in the closet. Adams ran. He soaked a towel, poured the fumes into the flour, and waited in terror. Slowly,
the lid relaxed. The filaments loosened. Adams pulled the professor free, shaken, dizzy, but alive. I suppose, Adams said, you should name it the Cannibal Plant. Oh no, the professor replied dreamily, but as punishment, it gets no dinner tonight. And next time, Adams added, feed it with a pitchfork. The professor smiled, and he has done so ever since.